Welcome to the Friday 15. Hope you're excited for the bonus podcast. I am super pumped because yet again, it's a Friday and we have a huge race this weekend. We didn't really know about on Wednesday when we recorded the regular podcast. I mean, we knew the Valencia half was going to be good, but it looks to be absolutely amazing. The world 5,000 and 10,000 world record holder against the half marathon world record holder. Going to be amazing. We're going to break that down for you. We're going to talk about the 9 daily deadly sins that you want to avoid in your life immediately. We're going to save your life by doing this. We're also going to talk about Jonathan Gault's new job. John, I'm happy to see your face here. Let's start with this. I was afraid you've already would have quit. I got into the office today, checked my email. I said, good, there's no email resignation letter. I checked maybe somebody now might resign via tweet. But the head of UK athletics has departed the job in the middle of the night. I was afraid that they would have already tapped you by now to take over your homeland's athletics, but you're still here. Thank you for being here, John.
No, I'm waiting for Max Siegel to step aside so I can take over that USATF CEO job, Robert. I hear it's very well compensated.
I don't know if you saw the tweet. Martin Rooney, not Wayne Rooney. He has said, is it too soon or should I get my CV ready? And he's only been retired for a few years, but I like that tweet. Made me think of you, John. You're a young guy yourself as well. Someone one time said, like, why don't you put your name in the hat for USATF or something? I was like, why in the hell would I want that job? It can be very hard to reform athletics. There's a lot of tradition. There's a lot of things.
I can think of about 4.5 million reasons you'd want that job.
Yeah.
Or 1.5 every year. Those are dollars, people. That's about what Max Siegel makes. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous that the head of a sort of not even that big nonprofit gets paid that much. But hey, the board approved it, right? The board approved it.
Well, Robert, I think we should get to Valencia here because you introduced it as a duel between world record holders. We thought that was true 2 days ago, but it's actually not. Letesenbet Gidey, she is the 5,000, 10,000 meter world record holder, but we have, and cue the music, Robert. We have breaking news. What we thought was the world record by Yalemzerf Yehualaw, 63:44 at the Antrim Coast Half Marathon in August. The course has been found to be 54 meters short. The time will not stand. So that means the world record reverts to Ruth Chepengedich, who ran 64:02 in Istanbul in April. Though it is worth noting that record actually hasn't been ratified officially yet either. So the current official world record is 64:31, but we do expect Chepengedich's world record to be ratified at some point. So the time that they are shooting for in Valencia is sub 64 because no one has ever done that. That will be a new world record.
But if they had run this course, the full distance, Yehualaw would have done it. I think I just butchered the name. That's why Robert said the two world record holders will be racing each other. I gotta get...
Probably for the best that he didn't try to say Letesenbet Gidey versus Yalemzerf Yehualaw.
I can say Gidey very easy. Letesenbet, I sometimes get wrong, but John, say it one more time.
Letesenbet Gidey versus Yalemzerf Yehualaw.
Yalemzerf Yehualaw. Got it. But that course would have been about 10 seconds short, we think. So she probably would have broken 64. Hey, race directors, measure your courses accurately. When you have a sub 65-minute half marathoner coming to race your half marathon, you better be ready. You better be ready.
Well, the weird thing about this, Weldon, is the course was certified, but it wasn't accurate in terms of length. So I'm always confused the difference between certified, but it's certified, but it's not the right distance. How does that make sense? I get confused by this sort of race director stuff.
Well, regardless of whether they're both world record holders, they're two of the best women's distance runners right now. It's going to be an amazing setup. And, you'd written the preview, John, and you hadn't quite talked to the agents. And then you called me back and said, don't publish this. I just talked to one of the agents. They're going for the world record. I think it was Miss Yahoo. Can I just call her Miss Y's agent? And
Y squared. How about that?
Yes. and there was talk of the 62-minute barrier. So no woman has ever broken 64 minutes. Both these women said at the press conference this morning that they think that eventually a woman will run in the 62-minute range, which is insane. So really incredible stuff. Got to get pumped for this. It's 2:30 in the morning, which if you're on the East Coast is a tough time because unless you're really partying hard, you're still not up. And it's right in the middle of the night. But if you're on the West Coast, 11:30 p.m., you might as well stay up for this one. Probably just if you're a young guy or gal, you're just getting ready to go out. So, that's exciting. And, I don't know where the woke mob is. All these people that say, let's run is toxic and this and that. I've gone to their websites. I don't see anything about this race. Are they racist? Do they only promote American distance runners or only white runners? I don't know, but we Let's Run are very excited about this and hope that you are too.
Well, Robert, throwing the racism card out there more directly. You got to be subtle about that when you throw that out there now. Well, maybe not. Nowadays, everybody just throws it out there. I'm just so sick of being called a racist and a sexist. I find it so ironic that you see no mention of this race pretty much anywhere else. But, okay. This is Gidey's half marathon debut. Now, she's super credentialed, obviously, 5K and 10K world record on the track. But her best performance ever was a 15K, that 15K world record she broke on the roads in the Netherlands. I mean, she ran that, and at the time she wasn't, the 5K and 10K track record holder. And you did the conversion charts. It's arguably the best female distance run ever, right? I mean, it's right up there. So, John, you heard them at the press conference today. From my take and discussing it with you, they said, hey, it's your half marathon debut. Are you worried? And, well, I won't put words in your mouth. What did Gidey say?
Yeah, she thinks she can break the world record. They were asking her what she's hoping for, and this was her quote. This is my first time half marathon, but I can do it. So she certainly thinks the world record's attainable, and she pointed out to that 15K race 2 years ago where she ran 44:20 is evidence that was her first 15K, and she ran the fastest time ever at that distance by a significant margin. So she's thinking big. She's had success in Valencia before. That's where she broke the 5,000 meter world record last year. And the interesting wrinkle in this race, so Yehualaw is in terrific form. I mean, as we said, even if that course in Northern Ireland had been a full half marathon, she still probably would have been under 64 minutes. And her agent, Dan Vandenberg, told me he thinks that she's even fitter right now. She's going in for the world record. She's been running great sessions. The last time these two women raced, back in June at the Ethiopian Olympic trials, Gidey lapped Yehualaw. This was a 10,000. This was when Gidey ran 29:01 to break the world record, and Yehualaw was back and forth in 30:20. I just found that so interesting that Gidey lapped someone who would later that year break the world record, or we would think break the world record in the half marathon.
John, I want you to go back to the agent and ask about that race because I was just thinking, she must not have been in shape. But when I look up her stats until Stop Shop, the results database that we subscribe to, she had run a 64:40 half marathon in Istanbul on April 4th. So unless she got hurt between the two, it's kind of interesting. I mean, 64:40 is super, super fast. Right? It used to be, at least, for Miss Y squared. And she runs 30:20. I mean, I guess it's not a terrible time to run, is it? And then 14:53 in the 5,000 a week later.
Well, you got to consider, Robert. Gidey was just out on her own early. She won that race by a minute. Now, if you look at 2:34, 30:06, 30:19 was third place for Sehai Gemachu, and then Yehualaw was fourth, 30:20. So she was second by like a second and a half. Oh, sorry, fourth by a second and a half, missed out on an Olympic spot by a second and a half. If you take out Gidey from the results, you can kind of see, okay, she was racing for an Olympic spot and just missed out. I think that's because she's more of a pure half marathon and marathoner. You look at her progression. She debuted in the half marathon in 2019. She ran 66:01 by the end of that year. Now she's down to 64:40, and she's trying to run sub 64. And I think that's very possible on Sunday. So she's only 22 years old. I think she's someone who was born to run half marathon and marathon. And Gidey, we know she's a superstar talent. We'll see how far her range extends, but I see her being very well suited for the half marathon as well, because she's not known for her kick. She's known for cranking it up that last mile or two, but she's not someone like Safan Hassan with the huge last lap.
And Gidey's only 23. Such incredible talents all at the same time. And you got to deal with Hassan if they stay on the track. I mean, I guess Paul Turgot was absolutely amazing and never could win the gold in the track because there was always someone by the name of Mr. Haile Gebrselassie in the way. But John, imagine, I think are we all in agreement? The world record is going to go down tomorrow or Sunday, excuse me.
I'd be surprised if it doesn't get broken.
But 62 minutes, I'm going to have to say no on that one, at least for this weekend. But you were telling me before we started the conversion of 62 minutes for the other distances, like if it's 62:58 or something like that.
Yeah, World Athletics, their scoring tables, they say that 62:58 for a woman in the half marathon is worth 1,323 performance points. That equates to 2:11:28 in the marathon, 28:40 for 10,000 meters, and 13:40 for 5,000 meters. Now, we're not close to seeing a 2:11 women's marathon. We're not really close to 13:40 in the 5K. We're not that far away from 28:40 in the 10K, though, because Gidey's world record is 29:01. I think you put Gidey and Hassan in a race and you set clock to like 29:50. I don't think that's out of reach for either of them.
John, we think alike. That's exactly what I was thinking. She's run 29:01. I mean, we're getting close. We haven't had it yet, but we're so close to actually 13 something in the women's 5K, 28 something in the women's 10K. We're not even at we're not quite there in the half, but they're already talking about going. We're not even 63s officially now. They're already talking about 62, but even 63. I mean, wow. I ended up, getting fourth in the country thinking I could make the Olympics as a male. And I can think of there's very few years of my life I ran under any of those times. And I didn't run under the half marathon time. It's just crazy how fast it's getting. And I mean, it's great. For the half marathon, if you go back and look at this, look, nobody broke 65 until 2017. I mean, it's come down pretty quickly here. And
I mean, no one had broken 66 until 2011. And then 6 years later, you got sub 65. And then we're almost at sub 64.
Yeah. I mean, it's a combination, I think, of two things. One, just the talent pool keeps expanding. If you go back, maybe not 10 years, 15 years, there weren't a lot of African women running. There weren't as many Kenyan women. There's some Ethiopians. So the money is there. It's tons of opportunity for people to take advantage of. And then the other thing, obviously, is the super shoes, at least for the roads.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing on the men's side. The men's world record was 57:32. We saw 4 men break 58 minutes in the same race last year in Valencia. It had never been done before then. So what we're getting is these top athletes. There's an incentive to run half marathons now, and they have the super shoes. So we're still trying to find where is this going to settle. And I don't know if it's going to settle under 62 minutes, but I remember when it was either when Gedich broke the world record in Istanbul or when we thought Yehualaw had broken it in Antrim. I asked you, should we be excited by this anymore? Where is this going to go? Because we just keep seeing this record get reset and reset. I think it could have a couple iterations left, or we could see something phenomenal on Sunday by Gidey or Yehualaw, because these are the two women who you would think, okay, they might be the permanent record holder for 5 years or something. If they run something like 63:30 in Valencia on Sunday, I think that's where it's going to stay for a while. But if they only if they run maybe 63:50s, we could see one or two of them take some more cracks at it down the road.
Yeah, I think if they crunch it to mid 63s, it might be there for a while. But the record coming down 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there. I mean, Y squared, people barely knew who she was a year ago. And now I think, oh, wow, people are like, wow, she's a super talent. So these two going head to head, it's what the sport needs. The only caveat we're not having, Valencia is one of the most unbelievable courses in the world, just in terms of the finishing. They finish on the water in front of is it an opera house, John? No, it's not.
City of Arts and Sciences. They, I believe they used some of it in the filming of Westworld Season 3. But the bad thing about this, blame COVID. They've changed the start-finish area for 2021. They want a wider start-finish area so they can practice more distancing. That means we don't get the spectacular shot of them finishing on the water in front of this City of Arts and Sciences.
And what's crazy about this race is we didn't even mention Simberi Teferi. I mean, she's a 14-15 woman. Like, that's an afterthought nowadays. By the way, John Kellogg's conversions, 13:37 for 5,000 for 62:58, 28:30 for 10,000. But he's only got a 2:14 in the marathon. So it's conceivable. It's certainly conceivable. Let's talk about the men's race real quick. I mean, last year we called it utter insanity. Kipchoge Candy, 57:32. The first four runners all broke the old world record. And Jacob Kiplimo, Ronix Caputo, and Alexander Mutiso. And of those four, only Caputo's back. So Candy's running New York, debuting in the marathon. Not sure where Kiplimo is. And Alexander Mutiso, he's kind of an interesting guy. Like, complete, total unknown, runs that race, and is still basically a year later a complete total unknown. I mean, I was looking him up. He did run a 59:20 half marathon in September, but I don't see much out for him this year. Why wouldn't he come back? I don't know where he is. But what do you think about this men's race, John?
Yeah, I don't have the word on Matiso. I think Ronix Caputo is the favorite. He does have the fastest personal best in the field. We saw at the Adidas Road to Records, he ran 26:43 there for the roads for 10K. That's very fast. You know, he has the world record in that event, set in Valencia last year, actually, at 26:24. And he said at the press conference today, he was the only man they brought in. He said he was going for sub 58, which it's weird. If he had said that 2 or 3 years ago, sub 58, my mind would be blown. But given that he ran in the 57:40s last year, I'm like, okay, that's a pretty reasonable goal. We know it's a fast course. We know that Ronix Caputo is a total star. So I expect him to win. There are a few other interesting names in there. We've got Rogers Kwemoy, who is the Kenyan cross-country champion this year. He took down Kipchoge Candier and Jeffrey Kamworor in that race. Kamworor dropped out. But sounds like Kwemoy, his last couple months, he has been sort of up and down with training. He was a bit sick after the Olympics. So his last few sections have been good, apparently, according to his agent, Valentine Trout, but I'm not sure what to make of him. And then you've got Muktar Idris, who is the two-time reigning champion in the World Championship 5,000 meters. He ran 59:04 in his debut last year. I don't think he's quite, the 10K aerobic machine that Caputo is, but he's obviously a big talent. And then Philemon Kiplimo, who was fifth in Valencia last year, he ran 58:11. And I'm just like, 50:11, in a world of 57 minutes, it's not as crazy now, but it would have been the world record as recently as, 2 or 3 years ago. So Philemon Kiplimo, he's certainly going to be in the mix as well, 58:11. Abel Kipchumba, who ran 58:48 this fall, he's also running.
It's crazy when you talk about, 58-minute guys getting like fourth and fifth in races. I'm like, pick a different race. You'd win by a lot.
I don't know if you guys hear anything in the background. Jonathan Galt has John Kellogg, coaching stat guru here in the office, has a bag of pecans or walnuts, and he's feeding a squirrel at the window that's like his personal pet, it looks like. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Anyways,
Peter will come after us now. Don't feed the wild animals. Don't feed the wild animals.
I was wondering about this one last thing about this race. John, the agents have told you to wake up at 2:30 in the morning. Will you do it? If you do it, I'm considering doing it.
I think it depends. Like, so the Red Sox, there's potential Red Sox Astros ALCS Game 7 on Saturday night. And we know that those games take like 4 hours or 4.5 hours. So that game will be ending around midnight or 12:30. If they make it to Game 7, they need to win Game 6 tonight. If they do that, maybe I just take a nap on my couch for an hour and then, wake up and roll on Valencia. So I'm certainly considering it, but I do also like sleeping in. So TBD. I think it depends on the Red Sox. If I'm riding high after they win, they're making the World Series. Maybe I slug a couple beers and it keeps me going.
But the problem is, if we watch it, then we're going to feel obligated to recap it and write some analysis of it, and that would put you at 5 a.m. minimum.
Oh, jeez.
And it's an NFL day, that right? I mean, there's games going on.
Patriots Jets that afternoon. Yeah.
I was going to say I was going to get up, but I might wake up at 3:30. I don't know.
At my age, John, you slog a couple beers, and that means you go to sleep till the next morning.
Yeah, that's true. I should have done Red Bull and vodka or something. Yeah, that's true. Beer would just put me to sleep.
Well,
I'm definitely not waking up. I've got a over 40 Division II soccer game. We're still winless on the season, still tieless on the season, but there's hope this week. Always hope, John. Always hope. But I expect a full written recap when I wake up, guys. So good luck on that. But how about some predictions, John? My only question is Gidey. She hasn't raced since pre. What do we know about her fitness?
Valentine Trout, who's her agent, told me it was good. She's been focused on this race. She did take a little bit of time off after the track season, but he feels confident. She said going in, she feels confident about her shape. And you remember last year in Valencia, going into the 5K, that was supposed to be about Joshua Cheptegei. This world record day they had in Valencia was Joshua Cheptegei going after the 10,000, and then Gidey, they were doing a 5,000, and Gidey, she was sort of the undercard. People weren't sure what to make. She came in and said, no, I'm going to break the world record. And she did by 5 seconds. So I kind of trust that she's in really good shape and she's ready to challenge that record.
Okay, you got to pick the winner and the winning time. I was just going to side with Gidey. I think she's the better runner, which maybe is crazy. The 62-minute talk, I thought you guys meant out in the future. But
we do.
No, but Dan Vandenberg says, quote, this is from your article, John. She has a plan not only to run the world record, but to run as fast as she thinks she can run. And maybe that's 62. Now that's talking about Yehualaw. But that's crazy. He's even considering conceding it for this weekend. But still picking against her. Gidey wins it in 63-24.
63-24. Geez. I'm going to say Yehualaw 63-37.
Uh-oh, John. I think he's going to dark sky. We haven't heard any mention of the weather.
No, Robert told me that the weather is going to be perfect. He put it in the article. When I write these articles, I'll put in something based on weather.com, and then I'll trust that Robert will come in and overwrite it with his dark sky knowledge. And he said that it's going to be in the 50s during the race. It sounds like, and Valencia, we know it's a very flat, fast course. It sounds like perfect weather, right, Robert?
Pretty good. Probably like 56 degrees at the start, 58 at the finish. I mean, if it was a marathon, you want it a little cooler, but I don't think they're going to get super hot in that short of a race. I was looking up some times here.
No stalling, Robert. We just need a winning name and a time. That's what the people want out there.
Do you realize how fast 63 anything is?
Yeah, no one's run it before. We spent most of the first part of this podcast saying how crazy 62 would be. So I think there's an appreciation for that.
Okay, what do you think you split a 10,000 in? Think about that for a second.
Well, didn't she? She came through. Gidey's first 10K in Antrim was 30-20, I believe. And that was kind of the hilly portion. There's there's up and down in there. When we were talking about this record on the podcast, we were saying the American record on the track is 30-13. And I want to say that the pace might be it's right around there. Isn't it like 30-12 or 30-14 per 10K?
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Because if you run 30 flat the whole way, you run 35 10K and keep going for a half marathon. So twice as far, more than twice as far. You run 63-17. So this is, it's like 63. It's like 30-10 pace, which is sick. I'm predicting Gidey gets the world record. And I'm predicting Herbert too, because her name is easier to pronounce, and it'll be easier to talk about her. Plus, to have the 5:10 and half would be pretty cool. I'm predicting a time of 63-46. There, you heard it first.
All right, so that's Valencia. Now, before we wrap the Friday 15, We've got there's a tweet that's made a lot of rounds on the internet. Or are we going to talk about the men's race? Are we going to predict that at all?
No prediction of the men's race. We got to talk about this tweet. You guys were just talking about drinking before this race, and you should not be doing that. Jonathan Marcus, who is a online coach out in the West Coast, went to Columbia. He has several coaching websites.
Trained with Galen Rupp in high school.
Super-running.com, superrunning.net, several online coaching blogs. Anyways, he's kind of like employee one, gone out to the West Coast, and I don't want to say gone off the deep end, but he's got some interesting things that he says on Twitter. He tweeted this out the other day, John. You saw it. I saw it. October 19th. Deadly daily habits. Now, I don't know. Is this for life in general or just runners? I'll just list them. Drinking alcohol, any amount. Sleeping less than 6 hours per night. Sitting for 3+ hours a day. Drinking soda. I think he meant soda. Any amount. Not eating 1 gram of protein per your 1 pound of body weight. Not eating 5+ servings of veggies per day. Not brushing and flossing your teeth. Smoking any amount, and not strength training. I saw this tweet and I was like, wow, I don't know. I mean, some of it's probably right, but I was like, what a miserable way to live if I can't do any of that shit.
Well, I want to weigh in here. First of all, I muted Jonathan Marcus a long time ago. I think most of his Twitter account's nonsense. But he's the perfect running troll. He must know at this point this is sort of an act. He tweets this stuff out. He gets incredible amounts of engagement. There are 66 quote tweets on this tweet, 92 retweets, 476 likes. I think he had like 53 replies. I don't know anyone who takes this guy seriously anymore, but I respect the hustle. I respect the trolling. Anyway, this tweet, I thought, I don't know. I feel like engaging with the troll, you're just feeding it. But at the same time, I did get a kick out of it. I mean, I didn't floss. I probably didn't start daily flossing until I was about 25. And even now, it's only every other day. I'm still kicking. So I made it, baby.
Wow, John. So there's 9 things on here. I just went and did the count that can kill you. I do 6 of them on a daily basis. So there's only 3 that I'm actually living up to. I get 6 hours of sleep a night. I think I get the 1 gram of protein. I'm not sure how much that is, but I like meat. 5 serving of veggies, probably not. But now that I'm married, I eat a lot healthier. So wait.
Yeah, and you don't smoke, so that's it.
And I don't smoke. Yeah, I don't smoke. So that's it for me. I mean, soda, yes. Alcohol, yes.
Oh shit! I forgot about not strength training. I haven't strength trained since I was in college. So again, walking miracle here that I'm still alive. 5+ servings of veggies. Yeah, I don't think so. And what about, all right, I don't sit for 3+ hours a day, but I would say I lie down for 3+ hours a day. Like, that's my prone position when I watch sports on TV. I'm usually lying down. Is that worse or better than sitting?
You don't sit for 3 hours a day? I sit all day at the desk. Do you have a standing desk?
I do a lot of writing from a prone position as well. I kind of lie on the couch or something, and I'll prop it up on my my quads.
Oh, interesting. I bet you I'm sitting like 6 or 8 hours a day. I have no idea. Not not consecutive, but little breaks in there, but not a lot.
I have a standing desk, but I never stand. But I do think about, first of all, what were people doing on the African plain back in the day? I think they were sitting a lot, but they're probably, John, like you, in a prone position. There wasn't a lot to do. You got your food and you would just sort of lay low, not get eaten by an animal. So it wasn't like, so I think that sitting for 3 hours a day, almost everyone does that at some level. They just may not do it continuously. It's probably good to get up, etc. Interesting.
Well, what are your options though? Your options are sit, stand, or lie down, right? Are there any other positions you could be in? Like, I guess I'm doing well because I'm lying down as opposed to sitting, or is that even worse? And if you're not sitting, what's the alternative? That's what I want to know.
Standing up on my standing desk. I'll stand up now. See if y'all know. I actually used to try to make myself do it. I'm raising I have an electric desk. Can y'all hear that? Zooming up.
Yeah.
Anyways, here I am, feeling good. All right. Speaking of other tweets, there was an interesting tweet before we go from Steph Rothstein. Stephanie Bruce. I guess that her Rothstein used to be her name, right?
Yeah, we call that a maiden name, Robert.
Yes, but her Twitter, that's why I got confused. But it's at Steph_Rothstein. Over the next week, I want to share some of my favorite memories from New York City Marathon. In 2017, my mom was going through chemo, and she came to New York. And she said this to me, Steph, I met this Olympian in the grandstands waiting for you to finish. And I said, oh, my daughter runs professionally too. She had no idea who he was. And then she put a picture. It's the GOAT, Eliud Kipchoge. I love this. It reminds me of like my mom and mom's enthusiasms for stuff. I know my mom's met people. So I met somebody like super famous. I told him my son was a professional runner. I'm like, please don't. What's your time at Weldon? But I used to ask my mom, like, well, what stories do you have about mom? I remember asking mom, like, she didn't know. My dad knew the times. Like, he would go to the meets and like he would have like written down Weldon's personal best. So if Weldon broke his PB, that he knew Weldon did well. My dad's very like analytical, likes to be driven by data. But my mom had no idea about that stuff. And I said, well, how do you know if we run a good race? She's like, I can just tell by the way you look. So she'll watch the race, and then based on like the way we react and the crowd will react, she could tell if we had a good race or not.
It's got to be refreshing for a guy like Kipchoge, though. I mean, maybe less so for him than like an absolute superstar like Kevin Durant or LeBron James. But, someone going up to him, oh, do you run? Oh, you're a professional runner. What have you done? Like, he tells, gives the resume. I feel like that's pretty cool. Whereas a lot of people would be like getting pictures with him or like clamoring for selfies. And yeah, it's a nice little moment.
That got me thinking. New York, Boston, step up to the plate. Eliud Kipchoge has never run a marathon in the United States.
That's not true. He won Chicago in 2014.
Oops. Well, sorry. John, flyover state. Just kidding, people from Texas. But he's never run Chicago. He's never run a Boston.
He has run Chicago. He's never run New York.
Gee, I said Chicago. Everybody knows I'm talking about New York. Open the checkbooks. Open the pocketbook. Let's get this going. I mean, oh my gosh. No, still don't think it's going to happen.
This is on Kipchoge, and it's on the organizers. He has said that he wants to win every world marathon major. He's got 2 Olympic titles. He has not run Tokyo, Boston, or New York. Next year, we have all 3 of those races are happening. Now's the time to get it. If he doesn't run New York or Boston, if he doesn't run at least one of them next year, I'm going to either say that the elite field organizers aren't doing their job and recruiting him hard enough, or Kipchoge is not actually serious about winning all the majors. But my prediction is he will run at least one of them, and I hope to see it.
If he doesn't run Tokyo or Boston, he's not serious, because where else is he going to run in the spring?
Right, that's true. That's a good point, Robert.
That is a good point. There's no London in the spring. Wow. Because I was just about to ask this question. Will he win any of the other ones? Tokyo, Boston, or New York? And I was going to say no. I think he'd go to London. But I forgot. London is in the fall of the next year. So if he sticks to major territory, he's only got 2 options. Tokyo and excuse me. Tokyo and Boston. Yeah. So Boston, please get him. Please.
Wouldn't it be amazing to see him on the hills and he just is totally unfazed by it and he's like, oh, it was fun. I ran up the hill and I won.
I'd love that. I'd love to see him go after Mutai's course record. Maybe we get a decent weather day and he says, I'm not just coming to Boston. I'm going to try to run 2:02 on that sucker.
I feel like he could get beaten Boston. I mean, there's just intrigue. You don't know. There's very little doubt about him on these flat courses. Boston, what if he gets beat? What if he get crushed?
Remember, before the Olympics, the scuttlebutt was his training wasn't going well. Everyone in the mix zone in Tokyo was saying he had no shot. So if he loses Boston, he's a has-been. And we found the Achilles claw in the marathon.
Wait, Robert, you're using that as evidence, though? That's just bogus. Like, he crushed everyone in Sapporo. There's
well,
no,
I know,
like...
but I'm just saying, maybe the training's off, and somehow he still did good in the race, but he's really done now, and he'll never be good anymore. Although he looks pretty good in these workouts that have been on Twitter this week. So
Wait, I don't know. I mean, I guess it was a pretty... we don't know what his times are normally for workouts, but yeah, it did look pretty smooth. All right, one last thing. This is some late breaking news. So we have an American running in Valencia. We didn't address this, Frank Lara. And I asked Frank what he thought he could do. I slid into his DMs on Instagram. And I was like, why? I was interested. Why are you going out to Valencia? You think you can PR, that sort of thing. He's run 61:50 for the half marathon. He was 18th in the Olympic trials 10K this year, 28:45, and he got 4th at the Falmouth Road Race. Most recently, 5th at the US 10-mile champs in 47:13 at the Cherry Blossom. But anyway, the reason I asked this is because I found his response quite interesting. And basically, this is what he said. After the Olympic trials, his coach, Richie Hansen, and I decided we wanted to focus on running a fast half marathon. Valencia was perfect for that. Also, Spain is awesome. It's going to be hard to leave. Training has been going really well. Every workout has gone as expected or better. So we have a lot of confidence going into this. The goal in training has been to break 60 minutes. And this is the perfect place to do it. The American record is definitely in my sights, but if I compete well over the final 5K, I think I'll be really happy with the time either way. It's the most competitive field I've ever been in, and I'm beyond excited. My eyes lit up when I saw him mention the American record. I don't think he's going to get it, but I love he's dreaming that big. What do you guys make of this?
Jesus Christ, John buries the lead all the time. He does not understand when he's got a big story. Oh my God, John! I would have loved with this. I was criticizing these magazines for being racist and only talking about the white Americans, but I would have been all in on Frank Lara. My God, holy, that would be amazing. He's 26 years old. With the super shoes, could he do it? That would be amazing if he did it. He's got a 61:50 PB.
Here's my question, though. Super shoes, he just signed with Ultra, okay? Do they have a super shoe? Is he going to be racing in the Ultras? Because if he is, I just don't think he's going to have a chance. But if you put him in one of the souped up versions, the Vaporfly or something, I'm going to be very curious to see if he's allowed to race in Nikes or if he trusts the Ultra if they have a super shoe.
Find that out. John, I hope that the DM came while we were recording this podcast.
No, I DM'd him yesterday and he responded this morning.
And you forgot to somehow tell us we were prepping the show, talking about the show.
I was going to kind of surprise you guys because I thought a reaction, springing it on you that he's going for the American or, going for sub 60. I thought I'd get a nice, genuine reaction. And I think I succeeded.
I mean, Frank Lara, wow. Up to now, okay, I'm going to go look up his PBs. Wow, he's run 27:43. That is pretty faster than I thought. But I would say Frank Lara's claim to fame usually is kind of being like the first unsponsored guy in most races. I was like, does he have a sponsor? He's like the guy who is pretty good, but you don't really think he'll make an Olympic team. That sort of thing.
Oh, I think of him as a very good pacer. He's basically when they want to go really, really fast. He's been a guy that has been employed. I think he was at the Marathon Project last year, but he had a breakout season in 2020. And I think, 18th of the trials, I bet he was hoping for faster than that after he ran 27:43 this year. But he's a talented runner. I think he can definitely run a lot faster than his 61:50. Though my one hang up was he was saying all these things was going well, but at the US 10-mile champs, he ran 47:13. That's only about 61:50 pace, and it's for 10 miles. He's going to have to run significantly faster, 3 miles longer to run 60 minutes or close to it. So I guess that's my question is, did something go wrong in that race? But I think he's talented enough to break 61 for sure.
61 for sure. But talking about the American record, which I think I got it wrong in my head the other day. Is it 59:43?
Yep. Ryan Hall, 14 years going strong.
Wow. There's just super shoes or not. Frank Lara is not breaking the American record. Something must have majorly gone wrong at Cherry Blossom because a 47:13 10-miler does not equal American record. So thank you for giving us something to talk about, Frank. If you do it, oh my God. Maybe Ultra has a super shoe.
Yeah, I can't believe I fell for this. 47:13 is 61:53. Did y'all say that?
Yeah.
Pace or conversion?
No, pace.
Oh, even further.
I said that earlier.
I thought John said something like that. But I was thinking low 61s.
This guy, It'd be amazing. I didn't know anything about Frank Lara. I knew he went to Furman. I had no idea he ran 27:43. This is how sick it is in American distance running and how times are meaningless nowadays, also because of the spikes. He runs 27:43 and he gets 18th at the Olympic trials. So competitive.
Well, he didn't run
Anyways, I would
28,
love
he
to
ran-
see him do it. It would be absolutely amazing if he did do it. But he better at least break. If he doesn't break 61 minutes, I want him to come onto the website and issue an apology to everyone for lying. Because, John, I want you to write an article. I want you to write this. We've got to promote this as an American record attempt. If he does break it, black page, Frank Lara t-shirts will be made, whatever he wants.
Well, then we're going to be accused of favoriting Americans again because there's going to be a women's world record. And if we're giving a black page to a guy just breaking an American record and we're ignoring the women, then come sexist, racist, xenophobic criticisms.
The only person that has a t-shirt is 159.40. That is in honor of it's a black goat on a red shirt. But I can't wait to. I'd love to make the Y squared shirt. Actually, that'd be kind of cool. Y squared, and then put the time underneath 62.
No, here's what we do. Y squared equals, and then you do the time. Algebra, get it?
Yeah, that's
How about
what we'll
that?
do. And we'll just have it, and that'll be it. Well, Let's Run's going to be great. Our first
And we'll send
female-only shirt, mass shirt, geek shirt. It's going to be great.
Maybe like a pink shirt with like yellow writing, and I'll send a box full of them to women's running.
Well, I'm just proud of myself for coming up for this Y squared nickname. We're going to make this happen. Y squared, let's do it.
I hope she gets the world record. I changed my mind so I can make the shirt. Will anyone buy it? I'm thinking about subscribers about making a new shirt. So we'll see.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. This is way more entertaining Friday 15 than I thought.
We always say we're not going to talk about it, and we have fun talking to each other. We should just start recording and then shoot from the cuff.
Agreed. Thanks for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, it means you're not a Let'sRun.com Supporters Club member. If you want a podcast like this every week, go to Let'sRun.com/subscribe. You get bonus content on Let'sRun.com, insider access, become a yearly member, free t-shirt, and you save 20% on running shoes right now. Subscription pays for itself. Check it out, Let'sRun.com/subscribe. Or hey, just want a t-shirt, go to shop.letsrun.com.